Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. You just can't get over how much failure the SNP has. It's failing so bad that even the very planet on which they inhabit is deliberately doing all it can to destroy them. This is the latest blow in their quest, I suppose, to become the Saudi Arabia of wind power, as they've once described it. Although blow, ironically, is the one thing that's not going to happen. Due to climate change, according to the boffins, and due to climate change, the wind will subside, and all these bird choppers built at millions of pounds and at the cost of millions of trees will be sitting there idle, unspinning, as the wind has died. Even the wind is working against the SNP now. You couldn't make it up. Their failure is complete. Let's have a look at this very quick story. It just made me laugh when I saw it. Unbelievable. Here goes. Seriously, how bad do you have to be when even the wind is not going to blow for you just to make you look even worse? It's astonishing, isn't it? SNP's offshore wind dream in tatters as climate change could stop turbines and cost taxpayers millions. Well, who would have thought it? Who would have thought basically saying, oh, we're going to invest everything so that we have a single one line where all our energy comes from this single source because it's so plentiful. And then the wind changes and they're screwed because they won't go for any other kind of power generation. Unbelievable, isn't it? The Nationalist plans for an independent Scotland to rely heavily on wind power becoming a costly commodity, but boffins have claimed that it may become obsolete due to changes in wind speed. It's just astonishing. The S&P's offshore wind dreams are in tatters after new research revealed that climate change could cause turbines to stand still, and this will put pay to an independent Scotland's claim of becoming the Saudi Arabia of renewables. Well, Saudi Arabia is like 90% desert. There's nothing there. It is a vast wilderness where it's hard to make a living out of what's on the ground. And that is exactly what's going to happen in Scotland. The difference is they're not going to be extracting all the oil that lies underneath the ground. Nationalist ministers have long touted the potential of Scotland's offshore wind projects, and this is one of the main cases for Skexit. However, they have admitted overplaying this, with the real figure being nowhere near the 25% of Europe's offshore wind power potential total, which was boasted about by the likes of Alex Salmond and Nicola Sturgeon, and indeed Humza Yousaf. I have a story coming about that as well, so definitely hit the subscribe button because he is a sneaky two-faced snide bugger who is refusing to acknowledge his mistake, but wait for the video coming. It'll be on later today. Anyway, with the amount of investment made in the wind turbine industry already, the taxpayers may be forced to foot the bill for inactive fields of them. Scientists have raised concerns that in the coming decades there'll be a shortage of wind due to climate change. Boffins have said that still weather caused by this future issue could see hundreds of turbines out at sea just standing idle for days on end. And of course the only thing is you still need the energy, and how are you going to deal with it? Coal? You won't have nukes because Scotland's going to be nuke free for some weird reason. So you won't have coal and you won't have nukes. What are you left with? People on bicycles pedalling furiously. It's going to be it, isn't it? SNP Green ministers want to go net zero in the next 25 years. And A, it's impossible. And B, it's impossible to pay for. It's basic physics. You cannot do it. Anyway, this is involving the end of oil and gas exploration. Nuclear energy is also not an option for the Scottish Government, despite the infrastructure being there for it and Westminster pushing forward with it. It's also nice and green. It could mean rolling blackouts and electricity loss for millions of Scots if only wind power is explored by the SNP executive. Imagine being so stupid as to do that. No, you don't need to imagine. You just simply need to look towards Edinburgh, towards Holyrood, at the fools that live in there, making these mad, weird, stupid decisions. On the other hand, who's voting for them? Anyway, the Daily Mail reports that research from Oxford University predicts that every part of Scotland's waters will become 20% less blustery during the summer within 40 years. The study was published in the journal Applied Energy and reads, the planning for offshore wind farm installation must consider alternative energy production sources in summer season to meet demand. You know, coal, gas, nuclear. They're the only options you've got in Scotland, really, because you're not going to get a lot sun-wise. Love Scotland. Been there in the summer and it's fine. Sometimes you get a nice sunny day and sometimes it's even warm. But there's not a lot of them, is there? And certainly not with the intensity you get further south. Anyway, a decline in wind has already been noticeable in recent years, as electricity generated from turbines in Scotland in April and June fell by 25% year on year, despite a 13% increase in capacity. So it goes to show they keep building more and more of these very expensive, ugly wind farms, these big bird chopping wind farms, and every year it's falling and falling and falling because it's the SNP, isn't it? Even the wind doesn't want to help them. The study used Met Office climate predictions and is based on the fact turbines need wind speeds of 3 to 6 metres per second to operate, or the blades will be idle. And in medium terms, speeds will dip sharply in winter and summer, west of the Hebrides and east of Aberdeen and Shetland. But more worryingly, in the longer term, nearly all Scottish waters will see a drop of about 20% during the summer, with autumn becoming stiller as well. Winter will be slightly windier and spring will be unchanged. But summer, oh dear, rolling blackouts because you've got nothing else, nothing to generate electricity other than the wind turbines, which ain't spinning. There you go. This is the level of stupid that these people have. You see that fella there wearing the parrot on his head? What he should have done is pick her up and thrown her off, and Scotland would have been better for it. Very cruel what he does to his octopus. Anyway, offshore wind turbines will be vulnerable to frequent extreme low wind speeds events in most areas, they said. And it's led calls from wind critics for the government to urgently change their energy strategy. Yes, there's nothing wrong with having wind turbines, if you're in a windy place and all, but you must have many different sources. It's called husbanding resources and it is clever. And so you do have nuclear, gas, coal, you know, if you've got the availability, river power, turbines in rivers and things. They have the one in Wales in the mountain where they let the water run down and it goes through and generates. So yeah, there are alternatives, but you don't just put all your eggs in one very windy basket when the wind is about to stop blowing. Dearie, dearie me. It is absolutely typical though when you've got morons making decisions without actually looking at facts. Still, what are you going to do, eh? You could vote for an alternative government who might just build you a nuclear power station. Coming up. Does make you wonder how you're going to charge all your electric cars in the summer, doesn't it? There's no electricity being generated and you've got no other sources. And yet all those cars sitting there idle because no energy in them. Oh dear. There's Scotland's economy completely screwed. Nobody can go shopping. Nobody can go to work. Nobody can go anywhere. But you do have a nice shiny car sitting there gathering dust, waiting for autumn and the winds to start again. These people, honestly, they are so stupid. So very, very stupid. Hey ho, you vote for them. Change of government time, I think. Change of government time. Put in someone who's prepared to build half a dozen nuclear power stations. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please worry about your future. Worry about your children. Worry what your children are going to do in the winter when they can't, get any electricity and they're freezing and the lights are off. But at least they'll have the knowledge that they're saving the planet. Except, of course, they're not. By then, China will have built another 5,000 coal-powered power stations, wouldn't they? Never mind. Bye-bye.